Hey, check it out.
Is on location.
Yes, this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review from Minute Maid Park. Awesome.
Looking
You just
good.
you just happened to catch me at the very end of our tour. We're leaving the field right now.
Well, hopefully
Yeah.
they have time to let us do a little week in review video.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna come up here to the top, but I gotta leave the grass here because our time is done. Uh
So
so
that was
this is
the opening reception for Viva Fresh was at Minute Maid Park.
yeah, this is just like the pre-opening reception. So tomorrow is actually the official opening reception. This is just a fun party. It used to be the 19th hole after the golf tournament, but since this is a different kind of show in Houston, we have it here. The venue is at the Marriott Marquis right across the street.
Nice. So what are you going to preview for the show for our viewers?
Today, so from what I'm hearing from Viva Fresh, this is one of their largest, most well-attended conferences, and the move to Houston has been quite successful. We'll be here 2 years, and then they will move back to San Antonio at the JW Marriott in a little smaller venue. So let's see what happens in what is that, 2026? But I think people were excited for a little change of scenery here in Houston.
So is anyone talking about the tomato suspension agreement?
Not yet, but there is actually a session tomorrow dedicated. I think they even called it like TSA pre-check, which I think is incredibly clever. But it sounds like there will be a lot to talk about.
Yes, the Fresh Produce Association of the Americas, not so the Nogales folks, which I'm sure there's a lot of Nogales folks there, released a release this week, heavily criticizing Florida for uh, horrible timing in their arguments, saying that that prices are being suppressed from U.S. growers when in fact the tomato market has been almost record highs, and they so FPA makes its points a lot, obviously, on pricing. Pricing is a huge deal, and they're saying, hold on, let me pull it up. They also have quotes from Mexican Tomato Growers Association, Nature Sweet, TIPA, and Mastronardi. And for instance, Mastronardi's argument is the U.S. demand for fresh tomatoes is incredibly strong and far exceeds U.S. production. And one of the big points the FPA makes is on Roma tomatoes, which are not in high production in the U.S. And they are saying that the Florida folks are ignoring all the other tomato varieties.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I got some photo bombers. They all thought I was pointing at them, but I'm pointing at myself, of course.
Of course. So yes, I'm looking forward to hearing what comes out of that session that you'll be attending and reporting on for sure.
Definitely, there's also, this is Viva Fresh, so there's the Fresh Health Award, a keen focus on what produce can do for you health-wise. And so the keynote speaker is going to address that as well. Oh, go ahead. No, you're good. You're good. Say hi to everyone. It's a little hard to do this at a reception, right? Folks trying to get on the field. I also spent my day today store checking, and for me, it was a tale of every different kind of HEB pretty much that you can think of that I don't have in my market. So I went to a Mi Tienda and a Jovi Smart Shop, and then a brand new, which we do have in Austin, a brand new store. And then I feel like I kind of got to go to the Central Market to kind of make a home run of all of the different HEBs that you can go to. And just for giggles, I stopped by Kroger as well, because maybe someday soon there will be a Kroger in Austin.
Well, I bet you didn't go to a 99-cent only store.
I saw one and I thought about it. I had seen all over social media all these people that are going in there and like buying everything that they can, that they're like favorites that they can buy at 99-cent only. I was not aware that there are things that you can only get there. But yeah, it sounds like they are one of the few discounters that is not taking advantage of inflationary markets. What's going on with 99 cents only?
Well, you could probably get stuff cheaper than 99 cents now as part of a liquidation. This happened after we recorded last week, so we have not been able to discuss it on this yet. Yeah, it's not a good situation. I guess I forgot that there were some in Texas.
Yeah, there are a few in Texas, only in Houston that I've seen. Maybe there's some in Dallas, none in Austin though. I've been there a few times, and then there's been a few folks who've been part of the trade show circuit of folks who have worked at 99 cents only, and they had an interesting concept where they were more of a spec buyer, kind of like a spot buyer, trying to capitalize on stuff. I can remember store checking in Southern California and just coming around the corner, and there's just a random display of pomegranates for some reason, but they were like sized down small ones, so I guess they got a deal on them. The rest of the store was, I'm gonna call it unremarkable, and I guess that's fair considering that they're liquidating.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. Speaking of inflation, the feedback group put out a release today talking about a consumer survey asking them about high prices in retail. I don't know if you had a chance to see it, but you've been traveling, so I don't know if you've seen that or not.
No, I had a fun drive from Austin to Houston today. That's always exciting. So I haven't had a chance to take a look at today's news. So what are consumers looking for?
Well, it was two parts. The first part was who consumers hold responsible for the higher prices in grocery stores. And the number one thing that they said was government policies and actions. And then following that, product manufacturers and suppliers would be second most responsible. And then like political conflicts and wars, supermarket retailers came down in the fourth spot. So I guess that would be kind of a positive that consumers are not holding retailers necessarily most responsible for the high prices. But then they also asked consumers what they thought about grocery store profitability. And consumers have the idea that grocery stores have about a 31% profit level, which is lower than they thought in 23 and 22, in which it was as high as 35 and 33%. And of course, this study points out it's closer to 1%.
Right.
It has been as high as 3% in 2020. So consumers, on one hand, they're not holding grocery stores responsible, but they as responsible as some other groups or factors. But they have this idea that grocery stores are making outrageous profits from these higher prices, and they are not. And maybe
Well,
that's something that retailers need to do a better job of communicating.
well, I can tell you that some items in like the produce department are incredibly profitable, but they have to do that to make up for the razor thin margins in most of the other departments. So fresh is generally higher margin than center store. Those are the thinnest wappa thin margins. But I kind of I understand what consumers are seeing here, because if they pay attention at all to quarterly reports, if they pay attention to any of this stuff at all, they are seeing record profits. Especially in some of the box stuff, the center store stuff. So they got to be wondering what's going on. But it's interesting that they don't blame it on retailers, because I guess they thought, I don't know, maybe retailers are doing a better job than I thought, but they could still maybe educate a little bit more about how little margins that they have. They're basically making money on volume, not margin.
No, one of the things that the principal of the feedback group, Brian Newmanville, who we quote all the time in Produce Blueprints, he says, clearly shoppers believe supermarkets could do more in terms of supporting them when it comes to fighting inflation, as well as communicating why product prices have increased. And I think that is like the lesson of this research, is that there is a lot more that retailers still could do to communicate that to consumers, because they're feeling the inflation too, even if they are making profit on it, which every business has to stay afloat. But the numbers are so far perception wise from consumers from reality that maybe they could help close that gap.
Yeah, that's definitely something they're going to have to take a look at. But for me right now, there's another group going by. Say hi, everyone. I'm going to have to sign off here because this reception's almost over and I've hardly seen anyone. So
All right.
that's it for the Produce Reporter Weekend Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up and look for me if you're in Houston for Viva Fresh.
See you next time.
See ya.